So I've been trying to get her corn shelled, and the combine I've been using is I think it's a 1970 or 71 John Deere 6600 with a 4-row 443 corn head. Anyway, the problem that I've got is the fan belt here. The way this thing works is the fan pulls through the screen on the hood, through the radiator and out. So you've got a fan belt here that comes down, powers this shaft that goes over to the actual fan belt, or to the actual fan, so it can go around the radiator. Right now that belt looks pretty tight, but the problem that I've got is this injector pump on this thing is leaking. It's leaking out the end of the throttle right here, and it's dripping down, and that's the reason why all this is wet like it is. I've been pressure washing this thing off every time I start, but anyway, it's leaking and dripping. It's not pouring, it's just dripping. But what it's doing is the fan is pulling this stuff and throwing it around everywhere, and it is just making a mess in here. But anyway, this belt is fuel soaked, I'm going to say, and it wants to get hot and slip and come off. So what I'm going to do is, I just got back from taking a load of hay, and I stopped at the local parts house and I got me a new belt. This is supposed to be an industrial grade, so we'll see, but the best thing to do would be to get this fixed, but I don't have the time nor the money right now to get that done. So this is going to be my next best thing. So, but this belt, it kept coming off on me the other day, and the belt, it is getting pretty wore. I mean, it's getting pretty thin, getting pretty wore in places, so it is time for a new belt. But so maybe this one will come off. But what it done, or what it was doing, is the first time it done it, I didn't know, and it got hot and it steamed. But this hood, I'm going to call it, this part comes down, and then what I was standing on right here raises up and seals off. And what it was doing is it was slinging that belt off and hitting this so hard that it was knocking that down, and then I would know and I'd have to stop. But anyway, So I had to shut the combine off because my head quit. I had to go down there and work on that. And it didn't want to start back, so I raised the hood. And this is what I found. Where it looks like it's coming from. I don't know if I can get this camera in there or not. But it looks like it's coming out this end seal right here on the crank. If you can get that light in there, you can see right underneath that pulley down in there, it's clean. And that's the only place else that it could be. Back behind it, everything looks alright. Oil pressure line's still good. And like I said, that down in there is where it looks like it may be coming from. So I'm glad that the head stopped now, because I was going to just keep hammering. But anyway, if I can get this thing started and get this head cleaned out. I don't like a lot. They might be, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 acres left, maybe. So I don't know what I'm going to do now. This was all planted with a 4-row, or with a 12-row, I'm sorry. So we could run it with a 4-row head like I've got on this one, or a 6-row. We've got a 6-row head. But we've got this other combine, this 7720, and it's got a 6-row head on it, but the part of this down here in Broadhead I planted with a 4-row, and it's up on top of the hill, and it's all I can do to get this machine up there. So I don't know if I can get that other one up there. And then, like I said, it was planted with a 4-row, and all I've got is a 6-row for it. This 4-row would fit, but it won't cut out the track, so I'll be knocking corn down. But anyway, I'm going to see if I can't get this thing started and get it back to the barn and try to figure out something. What I'm doing today, when I found this, it was late yesterday afternoon. It was almost dark. So I just brought it in and parked it. And the motor was hot, I couldn't see nothing. So this morning I come up here and I took some starting fluid and I sprayed around some spots that I thought it might be coming from, trying to clean it up. And I've got the motor sitting here running, and I'm going to see if I can figure out where that's coming from. I took that belt that I put on there the other day, I took that off. It runs the fan. That way I can look in there and not have to worry about getting caught up in the belt. But so far, I'm not seeing anything. Now, me and my dad was talking about it last night, and once before this particular motor, the oil pan bolts backed out on him, and he didn't know it, and it run dry oil and locked up. So he said that's one thing I need to check. The ones that I can see, they seem like they're tight. So I'm going to let this thing sit here and run a little bit. I ain't had it running long. Let that all get warmed up. Maybe I can figure out where it's coming from. Where that's coming from, I don't know if I'm going to have to change that whole front cover, I can get some kind of epoxy or something and clean that real good and put on that, I don't know. I'm gonna study on this a minute and make a few phone calls to see what I can come up with. But to get this front cover off, I think what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to take the radiator out to ever get in there to work. And then I don't know what else that's gonna entail. So the other day I was shelling corn and I had oil everywhere. So I come down here yesterday and I found where it was coming from, and the timing cover on this motor had a crack in it. And I called the local welding shop and asked them if they was something that maybe they could do as far as portable and weld this up while it's still on. And they talked like that they couldn't. So without taking this off, what I'm going to try anyway, I went down to the parts store this morning and I got this. This is what they recommended. Miracle Weld. According to the parts house guys, they say that this stuff right here will harden up almost like steel. That you can drill it, tap it. They've used it on manifolds and different things. So what I've done is, it says that you need to clean it real good and roughen the area. So what I've done is I've took some starting fluid. I washed the motor off yesterday, got as much stuff off of it as I could. And so I took some starting fluid, sprayed everything down around the area real good, wiped it down. I took a screwdriver and knocked all the paint off of it. This is an aluminum cover. I knocked all the paint off of it around the area real good. And I took starting fluid again and sprayed it off and wiped it down and letting that dry. And by using the screwdriver, it's roughing my area up too. If you can see right there what I've done. So I'm going to try to take this stuff and hope for the best. I mean, it's supposed to be oil resistant also. So otherwise I would have to take the radiator out, take this whole front cover off, and then take it to the welding shop. And that's going to be a big chore. So I'm going to try this first. If it works, it works. If it don't, I ain't out $4 or $5. I ain't out much. So hopefully this will work. So I've got this stuff put on here. I'll show you what I've got and how it looks. It's not the neatest job, but I don't care about neatness as long as it works. We'll just see how much of a miracle this stuff is.